Good morning. It's Saturday, October 12th. I'm Lisa Nunez in the Fox 5 newsroom. Thank you for joining us live on the Fox local app. Well, Sean Diddy Combs will remain in jail for the time being. A federal appeals court judge ruled that he will remain locked up while a 3-judge panel considers his latest bail request. The music mogul has been behind bars at a federal jail in Brooklyn since his September arrest on sex trafficking and racketeering charges. His trial is scheduled to begin in May. And residents who fled before Hurricane Milton made landfall are heading back home to major devastation. Milton killed at least 10 people when it crossed through central Florida. Officials say the death toll could have been worse if not for the widespread evacuations. More than 1 million people in Florida are still without power. And checking the forecast today, sunny and breezy with a high of 74. Tonight, a low of 53. Tomorrow, sun and clouds with showers late in the day. A 43-year-old man is under arrest in connection with a major drug bust in Suffolk County. It resulted in 7 kilograms of fentanyl being seized, which prosecutors say is enough to kill every man, woman, and child on Long Island. Fox 5's Jody Goldberg shows us how this could be indicative of a much larger problem.
Photos show what Suffolk officials are calling the largest fentanyl bust in county history and say Raymond Gibson of Bellport was storing it on a nightstand next to a kid's bedroom.
Gone are the days of cocaine and heroin, although they're still out there. They're now being mixed. Those drugs are being mixed with these more lethal types of lab-created drugs.
Fentanyl is a cheap synthetic opioid responsible for most of the fatal drug overdoses in recent years, and Gibson had more than 7 kilos of it. This according to District Attorney Ray Tierney, who says that's enough to kill every man, woman, and child on Long Island.
We're looking at taking out these major traffickers and disincentivizing what is otherwise a very lucrative trade.
In a multi-agency investigation involving the Drug Enforcement Agency, 8 kilos of cocaine and more than a pound of a veterinary sedative known as xylazine were seized, along with $80,000 in cash. And this bust comes just a week after Suffolk police seized carfentanil. It's typically used as an elephant tranquilizer, but it's known on the streets as Super Mario because it's approximately 100 times more powerful than fentanyl. Lori Carbonaro lost her son Nick to an overdose when he was 22.
With this seizure, we're saving lives, right? Thousands. Well, when you add up since my son's passed away, we need to do more, we need to do better.
Advocates and officials vow to do more by reducing the supply side and also doubling down on education, treatment, and prevention programs.
Every grain of fentanyl law enforcement takes off the street potentially translates into a life that's saved.
Not only has cleaning up the streets become Lori's mission,
I'm not looking to stop anytime soon.
but it's also the mission of officials who hope to change laws to make crimes dangerous drug dealers commit bail eligible.
There's nothing more dangerous than what we're talking about.
In Suffolk County, Long Island, Jody Goldberg, Fox 5 News.
Yom Kippur, the holiest day on the Jewish calendar, is being observed today. Yom Kippur means Day of Atonement. Those who observe pray for forgiveness. They also abstain from food and water until sundown, when the holiday's end is celebrated with a traditional breaking of the fast. And you may have seen them around Queens or in the Bronx, e-scooters, which you can take for a ride and drop them off wherever you get off. But since the launch of this pilot program, lots of complaints have been rolling in. Fox 5's Jessica Formoso shows us why there are calls to get rid of them.
And they're all over.
Residents of Southeast Queens are fed up with these e-scooters. It was in June when the Department of Transportation launched the e-scooter share program in this area. But since then, residents say it's been nothing but problems. They claim the scooters are being left all over and it's endangering their safety.
I have seen where you have individuals who are in a wheelchair trying to maneuver past a scooter, and they can't. They have to go in the street to go to wherever they want to get to.
We drove around and found a few in random locations, including one on the street.
All of a sudden, I would come home, get ready to go home. They're laying down, they're laying in your residence, they're laying in the yard.
The DOT is running the program with 3 private scooter companies, Bird, Lime, and Veo. City Council Speaker Adrian Adams says they have received multiple complaints from seniors and the disabled community, saying this entire rollout has been disorganized from the start.
This should never be. There should have been an organized rollout instead of dysfunction that we've had the numerous complaints that we've had, the presentation to our community boards saying take it or leave it, this is what it is, we don't accept that.
Urging City Hall to pause the program.
Let's go to the table and let's work this out together. We are going to have to determine where the proper corrals will be, how the e-scooter companies and the DOT are going to work together to iron this out.
The community board said no, under the auspice of you're not listening to us. And DOT has a history of not listening to us.
In 2 different locations in Jamaica, we found these designated parking spots, but residents say it's not working. So this was never here?
This was never here. That's what I'm saying. I'm surprised that it's there now, because over in my area, they're just laying all over the streets.
Demanding stricter rules for users.
The Department of Transportation has done this properly in other states. They've set up corrals and they've given people instructions, and they've created limiters on their bikes that we shut off if it's dropped in the wrong place. They've created opportunities to make sure that a person gets a fine.
We reached out to the Department of Transportation for a comment, but we have yet to hear back. In Jamaica, Queens, I'm Jessica Formoso, Fox 5 News.
Someone in our area could be in possession of a multi-million-dollar lottery ticket this morning. A mystery buyer bought a winning $16.3 million lotto ticket in Hell's Kitchen. The lucky ticket was purchased from the West Side Marketplace on 11th Avenue and West 55th Street on Wednesday. The jackpot winning numbers were 9, 17, 18, 29, 32, and 40 with a bonus number of 48. Make sure you check those numbers. And it is easier than ever before to hop online and find an internet pharmacy willing to write a prescription and put the meds in the mail. But the feds say those medications are not the real deal. Fox 5's Duarte Geraldino has a closer look at the warning about fake pharmacies.
Scammers are flooding the online pharmacy market with dangerous concoctions that are at best useless and at worst deadly. Federal officials say one woman in the U.S. thought she was ordering oxycodone from an online pharmacy, but what she got was laced with fentanyl. She died, and now the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration is sounding the alarm.
Have you seen patients who have used counterfeit drugs?
They're using drugs that they're buying online. They're not really sure exactly where they're coming from.
Dr. Sophia Lubin is an OBGYN at Symphony Medical. She says as the online pharmacy business grows, so does the problem. According to a report from Akivia, illegal online pharmacies dispensed 85 million prescriptions in 2022. That's no surprise to cybersecurity expert Robert Siciliano.
I'm not at all surprised that there's a counterfeit market, and it's going to get a lot bigger due to the sheer volume of online drugs being sold today.
Precedence Research estimates the global market for legitimate online pharmacies is nearly $100 billion. Dr. Peru Parikh adds that the landscape is changing.
There are a lot of online pharmacies that may be legitimate. Amazon is now moving to an online pharmacy, and then there's certain things like cost-plus drugs.
The DEA is reporting a sharp rise in fake pills sold online, often laced with fentanyl or methamphetamine and marketed as oxycodone and Adderall or Xanax. Dr. Sue Ojiger suggests making sure your doctor is directly involved if you use an online pharmacy.
If a doctor's office is sending it directly to an online source or pharmacy, then you know that that pharmacy is working in conjunction with the physician's office and they have some credibility.
And when you get your medication, check if the packaging is broken or damaged. Duarte Geraldino, Fox 5 News.
4 very cute puppies are lucky to have made it out of the destruction caused by Hurricane Helene. They were rescued from hard-hit Asheville, North Carolina by a volunteer team from Paws of War. The rescuers say the 6-week-old puppies were with a family who was struggling to survive. The group promised the family they'll take care of the dogs and find a home for the pups with a veteran or first responder in need. Well, let's get a final check of the forecast. Today, sunny and breezy with a high of 74 degrees. Tonight, a low of 53. Tomorrow, sun and clouds with showers late in the day. And that does it for us this morning. I'm Lisette Nunez. Have a great day, and remember, Fox 5 News is always streaming here on the Fox local app.